The top stories tonight in Y News. COVID-19 cases in the National Capital Region Plus continues to decline, but an upward trend is recorded in 10 regions.
President Duterte says those who refuse to get inoculated should stay home instead.
The Philippine Red Cross clarifies it is not selling Moderna vaccine. Senate President Tito Sotto urges Malacanang to seek economic options in resolving the West Philippine Sea conflict with China.
Taiwan to ban entry of non-resident foreigners for 1 month.
And Australian researchers developed the world's first antiviral treatment against COVID-19. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, May 18, 2021. I am Herlene Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Pio.
First in the news. The Department of Health is now seeing a decrease in the number of COVID-19 cases in the National Capital Region, or NCR, and its neighboring provinces. From over 5,000 average daily reported cases in NCR during the peak of COVID-19 surge in March and April, it dropped to over 1,000 this month, while the national average daily cases also decreased in half compared to over 10,000 during the peak of case surge in April.
Nananatiling nasa moderate risk naman ang NCR kung saan negative 46% na from negative 39% ang kanilang 2-week growth rate. Ibig po sabihin nito, bumabagal na po yung ang pagdagdag o paglaki ng kaso.
Should a downward trend in Metro Manila continues, the Octo Research Group projects that the average daily cases may drop further to 500 to 600 in the next 4 to 5 weeks. Aside from the NCR Plus, there is also a decline in Central Luzon and Region 4A, but at a slower rate. However, in 10 regions in Visayas and Mindanao, the number of cases is slightly increasing. These include Zamboanga Peninsula, Western and Eastern Visayas, Mimaropa, Caraga, Northern Mindanao, Socsargen, Bicol Region, Davao Region, and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The DOH says they are closely monitoring the uptick in Region 9 or the Zamboanga Peninsula, which is also at high risk in ICU occupancy.
Ang nakikita namin, kadalasan ng mga may pagtaas tayo nakikita ay ang ating mga highly urbanized or independent component cities. These are areas na syempre mas loose ang restrictions.
For Octo Research Group Fellow Professor Guido David, while there are a few areas that are concerning, the situation in the 10 regions is still manageable.
I would say of the 10, many of these are they're recording very low case count. So, for example, may positive growth rate pero nag-increase siya from 1 to 2 cases per day. It's not going to be alarming because the number is so small.
Despite this, the group reminds the public to continue to be careful as the threat of COVID-19 variants still lingers. The health department is also calling on the local government units to continue its localized lockdowns to prevent another surge of COVID-19 cases. Meanwhile, Professor Guido also noted that they have yet to see evidence of community transmission in the country of the B.1.617.2 variant first discovered in India.
We don't see any widespread transmission yet. Hindi ibig sabihin walang mangyayari, baka delayed yung effects niya. So we'll know more maybe in the next week or so.
Currently, 9 of the 12 returning overseas Filipinos came from the MV Athens Bridge crew. 4 of them are admitted in a hospital in Manila, while 5 of the crew are in an isolation facility. Also, 2 returning overseas Filipinos have been discharged, while 1 has been tagged as recovered. The Philippines recorded 4,487 new cases of COVID-19 today, bringing the cumulative tally to 1,154,388. In its latest bulletin, the Department of Health, or DOH, said the number of active cases is at 52,291, of which 93.1% are mild, 2.2% are asymptomatic, 1.29% are moderate, 1.5% are critical, 2% are in severe condition. The DOH noted that the latest tally does not include data from 8 laboratories that failed to submit their reports on time. The DOH also reported that the total recoveries rose to 1,082,725 after 6,383 more patients survived the viral respiratory disease. The death toll climbed to 19,372 with 110 new fatalities.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte advises those who hesitate to get vaccinated against COVID-19 to just stay home. Meanwhile, the chief executive approves the expansion of vaccination to government and economic frontliners, as well as the indigent population. Rosalie Cos explains why.
President Rodrigo Duterte encourages the public anew to get vaccinated with available COVID-19 vaccine shots in the country, though he says no one can force anyone to get the jab. Nevertheless, he tells those who are reluctant to be inoculated to just stay at home.
But then, sana kung ayaw ninyo magpagbakuna, wag na kayong lumabas ng bahay para hindi kayo maghawa ng ibang tao. Kasi mahahawa talaga kayo.
Meanwhile, the president tells the public not to be choosy with the available vaccine brands because there will be no discrimination with vaccination rollout in the country. He directed Vaccine Czar Carlito Galvez to distribute the vaccine supplies to various communities, whichever vaccine brand is available. Apart from this, more Filipinos will be eligible to get vaccinated in the weeks ahead.
Kung mahirap ka man o mayaman, kung gusto mo, pumunta ka doon sa vaccination sites. If you are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective. So, there's no reason for you really to be choosy about it. The only reason is ayaw ko magkaroon ng storya na may pinapaboran kami na ito, wala.
The president has approved to expand the vaccination to priority Group A4 or government and economic frontliners, as well as Group A5 or indigent population. The government will release guidelines on this soon. Procured COVID-19 vaccines will be used for the Group A4, while the vaccines from the COVAX facility are intended for the A5 or the indigent population. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health reminded the public to first secure an appointment before heading to the vaccination site following the incident in Parañaque City, where residents crowded a mall to get the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. Janice Inhente reports.
Parañaque City residents flocked a mall in the city yesterday in hopes of getting vaccinated with the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. A video posted on social media shows the long queue of people, including senior citizens, while physical distancing and other health protocols were also not followed. A vaccination site in Manila was also flocked by groups of people who wants to get vaccinated. Based on the existing system implemented by local government units, individuals who wish to get vaccinated must first book an appointment online. A confirmatory text or email will be received by the applicant on the schedule of their vaccination. The DOH NCR said LGUs must ensure to properly disseminate the vaccination process to their constituents and discourage walk-in.
Pag nag-walk-in kasi mas magulo, okay? Kasi madalas sa mga previous experiences, mas madami yung walk-in doon sa naka-schedule. So it would be better talaga na sundan yung schedule. May mga LGUs na talagang hindi tumatanggap ng walk-ins at yun ang nakita natin na mas maayos. But kailangan talaga alam ng mga constituents nila na ganun yung proseso.
The government said the recent incident showed improving confidence on COVID-19 vaccines. However, the public must still be conscious, especially when in a crowd, to avoid super spreader event.
Alam ko marami ang na-excite sa bakuna ng Pfizer, ngunit sundin po natin ang patakaran at anunsyo ng inyong lungsod. Makipagtulungan po tayo sa inyong LGU. Kung may schedule ang inyong lungsod na itong grupo lamang ang magpapabakuna, sundin po natin ito dahil kung hindi po talaga, baka maging super spreader venues yung nilalaan natin para nga po masalba ang buhay ng ating mga kababayan.
Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine Red Cross, or PRC, clarified it is not selling the COVID-19 vaccine developed by American pharmaceutical firm Moderna to the public. In a statement, PRC Governor Maria Carissa Cosculluela said the humanitarian organization is not in the business of selling any vaccines. The PRC clarified that the procured Moderna vaccines is only intended for their members and partner donors who are willing to bear the cost of the vaccine. The clarification was made after PRC Chairman Senator Richard Gordon said the organization will offer Moderna jabs at 3,500 pesos for every 2 doses when its orders arrive. More than 100 members of the Bureau of Fire Protection will be deployed to several COVID-19 facilities and hospitals in Metro Manila. Marvin Calas tells us why.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, and the Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP, prepares to deploy 120 firefighter nurses in the National Capital Region. This is to augment the need for the healthcare workers in several COVID-19 facilities and referral hospitals. But prior to deployment and assisting COVID-19 patients, the DILG clarified the need to vaccinate all BFP nurses for their own protection.
Priority sila for vaccination. So we will make sure that before they are deployed, at least makapag-first dose sila. Siyempre, kailangan natin siguruhin yung kanilang kaligtasan, no? And A1 sila, so talagang iti-check natin yung kanilang vaccination. We will assure the public na bakunado sila before sila ma-deploy.
BFP Chief Director Jose Embang Jr. says their personnel are not just common nurses because they went through several emergency medical trainings. Director Embang also assured that the BFP operations in responding fire emergencies and other related accidents will not be compromised by sending off several personnel.
Itong nabanggit nga ho kanina, 120, napaka-minimal number ho yun para maapektuhan yung efficiency namin sa firefighting. Other than that, yung mga dineploy ho natin dito ay mga members ng emergency medical services sa iba-ibang lugar. At ang mga pag-deploy na ito ay hindi ho sila, they were not forced, they were not coerced, but all of them volunteered na maging part ng COVID response natin.
Aside from COVID-19 facilities and referral hospitals in Metro Manila, BFP in partnership with the Department of Health targets sending firefighter nurses in Puerto Princesa, Palawan in aid of the growing number of COVID-19 cases in the area.
So meron po kaming pinoproseso ng mga additional na mga hospitals at yun nga po kung makapagbigay ho tayo doon sa Puerto Princesa kasi 'di ba tumataas ng cases at sila ay nanghihingi rin ng ayuda po ng health workers, especially nurses.
The deployment is effective for 3 months but could also be extended depending on the situation and the demand of hospitals in the fight against COVID-19. Marvin Calas, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
For those watching our 24/7 live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook.
Senate President Tito Sotto called on Malacanang to consider economic options as an alternative response to the continuing conflict over the West Philippine Sea. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. agrees to President Rodrigo Duterte's decision not bringing the sea dispute issue in the United Nations. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
Senate President Vicente Sotto III suggested to Malacanang to pursue the joint oil exploration in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. According to Sotto, China cannot just hinder the country to explore its natural and mineral resources in our territory, but China could be partnered in the exploration with 60-40 sharing in favor of the Philippines. The Senate President said this is the economic opportunity of the country and the government should start scouting for investors for the said oil and gas exploration. He added that this will serve also as an alternative response to the continuing tension between the Philippines and China on the West Philippine Sea dispute. Last night, President Rodrigo Duterte expressed worry over the possible interest of China in other resources in the Philippine waters.
There will be a time that itong oil, gas, and everything, which you said to run into billions, I do not have the figures, they might take an interest on that, and that is the time when I said that there will be a real problem.
Senator Panfilo Lacson also agrees to former Senator Juan Ponce Enrile to continue the diplomatic talks with China. But the senator said the administration should not disregard other options, not only to resolve the dispute in the region, but to provide the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region. As he suggested before, the government should build alliances to other power countries who may help in our cause and also advance their own interest in the vicinity of the West Philippine Sea. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. agrees to President Duterte's decision not to take territorial dispute issue in the United Nations. According to the Secretary, the President is correct when he said that it's meaningless for now to pursue the arbitral award. Also, President Duterte is right not to take the issue in the UN where China has the votes. Last month, presidential spokesman Harry Roque said that China is a permanent member and has a veto power at the UN Security Council. He said it was also unlikely that the UN General Assembly would order the ruling's enforcement because majority of countries might side with China. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, former Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario suggests again to President Rodrigo Duterte to raise the issue on the West Philippine Sea to the United Nations Assembly. During a live interview of the Rotary Club of Makati, Del Rosario said that their proposal is for the President to task the Department of Foreign Affairs to formulate a strategy on how other nations can be convinced to take a stand in the rule of law in support of the Philippines. Del Rosario said that President Duterte must raise the arbitral award anew and make sure he seeks the support of responsible nations and compel China to abide by the arbitral ruling. He said the Philippines also welcomes the position of other countries like France, Germany, and the United Kingdom against China's possession in the West Philippine Sea. President Duterte already rejects the idea of raising the territorial dispute before the UN as he wants to continue the good relationship with China.
Modernization will remain a priority to the new commanding general of the Philippine Army. Meanwhile, the Department of National Defense explains why Lieutenant General Jose Faustino Jr. was removed from his post as an acting Army Chief. Lea Ilagan will tell us why.
Major General Andres Centino formally assumes as the 64th Commanding General of the Philippine Army. In his assumption speech, he said he would give priority to the modernization program of the Philippine Army. The discipline of soldiers will also be raised to the highest level and with a strict recruitment of new applicants.
An army with modern technology and capabilities. An army that is professional, well-equipped, and well-trained. An army of world-class standards and the pride of the Filipino people.
Centino served as the commander of the 4th Infantry Division of the Philippine Army. He became the Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations or J3, the commander of the 401st Unity Brigade of the 4th Infantry Division, and the Chief of Staff of the 4th Infantry Division and many others. Meanwhile, former Philippine Army Chief Lieutenant General Jose Faustino Jr. expressed gratitude to soldiers who supported his 3-month stint as their commanding general. Faustino also advised soldiers to remain professional at work.
I humbly and personally want to thank the 100,000 strong Team Philippine Army for their amazing support, dedication to duty, and service excellence.
Faustino is scheduled to retire in November. DND Secretary Delphine Lorenzana explains why Faustino Jr. has to be relieved in his position immediately.
We had to do it to address some legal infirmities in his designation as Commanding General. I think the higher-ups made a mistake because there is a law that says that no general officer will be designated as Chief of Services, including that means Army, Navy, Air Force, if they have less than 1 year in the service before retirement.
Meanwhile, AFP Chief of Staff General Cirilito Subihana confirmed that Faustino will be designated as a Special Assistant to the Chief of Staff on Peace and Development. General Subihana refused to comment if Faustino will be his replacement if he retires in July.
Well, hintayin na lang po natin kung ano yung susunod na kabanata.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
More groups have now sought the Supreme Court's protection from the alleged harassment and red tagging from government authorities. Dante Amento will tell us why.
Progressive groups Bayan, Karapatan, and Kilusang Mayuno want to seek for legal remedy or protection from the Supreme Court against alleged abuses from authorities. Groups are asking the High Court a writ of amparo to protect them against threat to life, liberty, and security.
Ano ba ang pwedeng gawin para pigilan yung search warrant factories at ginagamit yung search warrant para magtanim ng ebidensya? Ano ba ang pwedeng gawin para pigilan yung nagsiserve pa lang ng search warrant, pinapatay na?
They have also asked the High Tribunal to act on the red tagging, terrorist labeling of activists, and even journalists, and the use of its anti-insurgency task force to issue fabricated search warrants, which apparently sometimes resulted to death.
Para nga sa amin, ang red tagging ay nakamamatay talaga. In fact, ang mga report hanggang ngayon sa buong Laguna, yung mga unyo namin sa Laguna, ay sinusuyod, hinahouse to house po ng mga NTF, LCAC at outrightly sinasabihan na sila daw ay member ng mga terrorist organizations.
The progressive groups want authorities to use body cameras and an independent witness must be present during the actual search. The groups blame law enforcers in the unruly death of 9 individuals last March 7, 2021, or what they called the Bloody Sunday. Meanwhile, NTF LCAC Vice Chairperson Secretary Hermogenes Esperon Jr. has recently said the government is not responsible of the red tagging but pointed to the communist group being led by CPP founder Joma Sison. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, is still finalizing the rules on the online campaigning for the 2022 elections. However, some potential candidates have already started on some online platforms. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, sees the benefits of online platforms for candidates in the upcoming 2022 elections. Given the current pandemic situation, a significant shift to online campaigning is expected during the 2022 elections. According to COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez, they are still finalizing the guidelines on the use of online platforms for election campaigning. The poll body is looking for other methods that the candidates may adopt for the elections.
So if it's not really advisable for us, for the candidates to go on a face-to-face campaign, I think we may limit or we may introduce some other forms of campaign that the candidates can adopt.
For election advocate Contra Daya, one crucial aspect that needs to be closely monitored is the campaign spending of every candidate. A report last May by the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism or PCIJ reveals some local politicians who have started advertising in Facebook. Another important aspect that needs to monitored is the possible spread of misinformation or the so-called negative campaigning.
Kailangan talaga na tingnan mabuti yung kanilang mga mensahe, bakit sila mga naging instant commercial model, bakit may mga biglaan silang mga infomercial na sinasagawa ilang buwan bago yung formal na campaign period.
The group suggests allowing the face-to-face campaigning but with limitations because not all candidates can afford the huge cost of radio, TV, and internet campaigning. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Power distributor Meralco announced it will start sending service disconnection notices to customers with unpaid overdue bills following the shift in quarantine status in Metro Manila. The GCQ with heightened restrictions takes effect from May 15 to May 31 as announced by the national government. Thus, Meralco reminds its clients to communicate with its representatives for any concerns about payments of unpaid bills through the firm's social media account or through its official email address at customercare@meralco.com.ph. Concerns may also be forwarded to Meralco's customer hotline 16211 or SMS through the following numbers: 0920-971-6211, 0925-771-6211, and 0917-551-6211. Customers are reminded to have their customer account number when transacting.
100 personnel of the Universidad de Manila received their COVID-19 vaccine today. However, professors who are working from home were not included in the group. JP Nunez reports why.
A symbolic vaccination was held in Universidad de Manila today. According to the Commission on Higher Education or CHED, this is in preparation for a massive vaccination in colleges when more vaccine supplies arrive in the country. 100 UDM personnel received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine today, including personnel in the Human Resource Department, Registrar's Office, and faculty staff who work as a skeleton force of the university. They believe they need to get vaccinated since they also get exposed to the virus while working on campus.
Actually po, skeletal naman po kami, pero pag may mga rush po kami, pumapasok po kami kahit MCQ. Medyo mababawasan po yung takot mo kasi syempre pag nagpabakuna ka na, meron ka ng protection kahit papano.
Our office is considered as one of the frontliners ng UDM. So we are directly in interactions and communicate with the students. So kailangan po namin, we protect our office as also we protect ourselves.
CHED explains that although professors and educators who work from home are education frontliners, they were not included in today's symbolic vaccination because they belong to the B1 priority group of the government inoculation program.
Yung mga naka-work from home saka yung mga ibang empleyado, B1 ang classification nila. Hindi sila A4. Ang A4 lang ay yung skeletal workforce. Yung iba, the rest, pupunta sila sa B1, hihintayin nila yung tamang panahon kung kailan aabutan na sila ng bakuna.
CHED Commissioner Prospero de Vera III said about 150,000 education frontliners will get vaccinated when the country receives more vaccine supply. Educational institutions are preparing their list of personnel who are willing to get their COVID-19 jobs. JP Nunez, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, more than half of the employees of the Senate have received their COVID-19 vaccines. This was announced by Senate President Vicente Sotto III in today's plenary session. According to Sotto, 73% of their 1,800 employees have already been inoculated. He adds those who have yet to receive their jabs include some of the senators. Earlier, the Senate President revealed that they have started vaccinating the Senate employees using vaccines from Chinese firm Sinovac and Russia's Sputnik V vaccine.
The Department of Transportation is set to begin the construction of the EDSA Busway Concourse project starting next month. The said project will provide safe walkways for commuters crossing EDSA. Janice Inhenta reports.
Passengers of the EDSA busway system will soon benefit from construction of 3 bridges with concourses. The structures located at SM Mall of Asia, SM North EDSA, and SM Mega Mall aim to provide safe, accessible, convenient, and persons with disabilities friendly walkways for commuters and those crossing EDSA from one side to another. The bridges will feature state-of-the-art architecture with a concierge ticketing booths, turnstiles for the automated fare collection system, and ramps and elevators for ease of accessibility.
Sa wakas, makakamit at matitikman na ng publiko ang tunay na pagbabago sa EDSA gamit ang EDSA Busway Concourse. Mas magiging ligtas na ang pag-akyat pagbaba ng mga pasahero sa mga sasakyan. Mas kumbinyente na rin.
We really aspire to provide convenient, fast, and safe commuting experience to all the Filipinos. We are expecting thousands of them daily, so we are more than glad to be providing this service to the public. We hope that everybody could enjoy this convenient and pleasurable experience commuting along EDSA already.
120 million pesos is allocated for the project that is estimated to take 6 to 8 months. The DOTR is also communicating with other private groups to also put up concourses to Buendia and Taft Avenue, Tramo Street, and Rojas Boulevard Avenue. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Taiwan plans to prohibit the entry of foreigners for 1 month amid new COVID-19 outbreak. Mary Jo Malariado will tell us the details live. Yes, Mary Jo?
Good evening, Steph. The Taiwan Central Epidemic Command Center, or CECC, announced on Monday that due to the recent surge of COVID-19 cases, the entry of foreigners without effective residency permits will be temporarily banned. Additionally, the CECC said transfer flights will also be suspended. However, unspecified humanitarian and emergency exemptions will be made. The ban comes after the country reported at least 335 new COVID-19 cases Monday, its highest number of infections in a day since the pandemic began. Of the new cases, 333 were locally transmitted. The measures will be active for a month, running from May 19 to June 18. Meanwhile, around 5,000 Filipino workers bound for Taiwan are stranded after Taipei and New Taipei alert level was raised to level 3. Acting Philippine representative to Taiwan, Gilbert Luenco, said that the deferment is due to the lack of quarantine facilities for migrant workers, as the country has to prioritize the incoming Taiwan nationals who need to serve the mandatory 21 days quarantine. Luenco also urged that our affected migrant workers should coordinate with Labor Department and Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, for assistance. Steph?
Thank you, Mary Jo, for that report. An extremely severe cyclone hits India, causing massive landfalls in cities while the country already struggles to battle COVID-19. Nerissa Dando will tell us the details live. Nerissa?
Good evening, Steph. Cyclone Tauktae wreaked havoc in India late Monday, bringing with it winds up to 185 kilometers per hour. India's meteorological department classified the cyclone as an extremely severe one, making it the strongest cyclone yet after almost 2 decades since the country's last severe storm in 1998. Cyclone Taktay traveled along the western state of Gujarat, just narrowly missing the city of Mumbai. Its high winds and heavy rainfall has caused massive landfalls around the state, destroying thousands of houses and disrupting electricity. At the moment, at least 12 people were reportedly killed and more than 150,000 individuals were already evacuated. Additionally, the Indian Navy had sent 3 warships to rescue 400 people stranded in 2 commercial barges off the coast. However, only 38 individuals have been rescued so far. The cyclone hits India in the middle of a severe COVID-19 wave. The vaccination drives were then halted to make way for evacuation efforts. But with hundreds of people now clustered in evacuation shelters, possibilities of new clusters outbreaks are feared. Steph?
Thank you, Narissa, reporting live. Well-known English rock and blues guitarist Eric Clapton recounts his reaction to the AstraZeneca vaccine as severe, fearing he would never play guitar again. Nina Bascon will tell us why.
A letter by Eric Clapton, shared by Italian architect Robin Monotti on Twitter on May 12, describes his experience with the COVID-19 vaccine. After taking the first jab of AstraZeneca, Clapton had a severe reaction straight away, which lasted for 10 days. Eventually, he recovered and was told the second dose would be 12 weeks away. The second shot was offered around 6 weeks later, and Clapton had taken the shot as this time he had more knowledge of the dangers. Unfortunately, he describes his reaction to the second dose as disastrous. His hands and feet were either burning, numb, or frozen, which left him useless for 2 weeks and worried he would never play guitar again. Clapton blames the propaganda for overemphasizing the AstraZeneca vaccine was safe for everyone. According to the National Health Service website, to experience short-term side effects after the vaccine is normal. It shows the vaccine is teaching your body's immune system how to protect itself from the disease. Some side effects stated by the NHS include general fatigue, headache, muscle aches, joint pains, chills, nausea, and fever, but most are mild and short-term. The World Health Organization has approved AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine and is available in both the European Union and the UK. However, the United States has not yet approved the AstraZeneca vaccine due to the past cases of blood clotting in older demographics. Nina Bascon, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Scientists from Brisbane, Australia and United States have collaborated on a research of world's first ever antiviral treatment, which they say has the potential to prevent patients from dying. Navy Dog reports why.
The international team of scientists from the Menzies Health Institute, Queensland, and the American Research Institute, City of Hope, have developed a technology which they say has the potential to stop COVID-19 infection from attacking the lungs and preventing patients from dying due to lack of oxygen. According to lead professor Nigel Macmillan from Griffith University, in the research they have done in COVID-infected mice, the therapy has removed 99.9% of the viral load, proving its effectivity.
This is based on a technology called gene silencing, and it's a form of RNA medicine. Essentially, it's a seek and destroy mission. We can specifically destroy the virus as it grows in someone's lungs.
They used a next-generation technology, which is called gene silencing RNA medicine, to destroy the COVID-19 genetic material to stop the spread of the virus.
So RNA medicines need to be delivered in something called a nanoparticle. So we inject it into the bloodstream, and the nanoparticles go to the lungs and they fuse into the cells, delivering the RNA. The RNA seeks out the virus and it destroys its genome. So the virus can no longer replicate. This is incredibly specific to just the virus. So normal cells don't suffer from any side effects at all with this particular treatment.
Macmillan clarified that this is not a cure, but a therapy to reduce the virus by 99.9%, preventing people in ICU from dying. According to co-lead researcher Professor Kevin Morris, this therapy is designed to work on different and new variants of the virus and is more cost-effective to produce. This research has been published in Molecular Therapy, and treatment could be available as early as 2023. Mavian Dog, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I'm Stephanie C. live from Hong Kong. Good evening.
And those are the reasons behind the news, May 18, 2021. I am Herlene Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Evangelio Castro III.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.